All right, and happy Monday. Welcome, everybody, to the show live. I'm your host, David Burrows, and happy belated Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, but happy belated because it was yesterday. Does that make sense, right? Hope you got some time with family and spend time with mom or remembered mom, however that affects you on Mother's Day. But I'll tell you, the restaurant business is a good place to be on Mother's Day. It is busy out there all over the place on Mother's Day, but got to spend some time with my mom as well. So I'm glad that I still have the opportunity to do that. So again, happy Mother's Day to all the super amazing moms out there. Dads are cool too, but there is just something about moms, right? They're just like, they've got that extra special thing going on. Welcome to the show. Of course, I love Mondays. I say it every week. I love Mondays because it's I don't want to say it's my favorite day of the week. Is there a favorite day? I like every day. It's one of my favorites because I get to talk to amazing people every week that we're going to have here on the show today. So stick around for that. 3 great guests. We're going to be talking Alzheimer Society coming up shortly. We're going to be talking the One Tomato Project. Is it tomato or tomato? We're going to ask our guest that comes up. And later on, Mark Perrin from Bluewater BorderFest. Going to be here later today. Will he have some announcements? Can't say. You're just going to have to stay tuned. That's called the teaser, folks, right? It was also a busy weekend for the Pacers. Of course, here we'll be broadcasting all the Pacers home games, except for 2 we can't make. But the Video Show Network will be there, and I'll be there as your commentator on behalf of the Video Show Network. And finally, yesterday, they had back-to-back games Saturday, and they had a Mother's Day. Great turnout, by the way, almost 200 people there to watch the Junior B lacrosse Pacers get another win. Finally, 13-12 was the final score there, which was much better than the day before when they played St. Catharines and lost 16-6. So now they've got their 3rd win of the season. So we'll be back again on May the 18th, live from the Point Edward Memorial Arena, broadcasting the game in its entirety as they take on the Welland Generals May 18th. So looking forward to that. And you can also, our friend who does the arena announcements there, Nick Montague, you can check him out online at coyote103.com. All right, got some special events and things coming up. We're going to talk about that first. Let's talk about the United Way of Sarnia-Lambton. Of course, our friend Dave Brown joins us here regularly. He'll be up here in a couple of weeks. I think he'll be back. But in the meantime, he asked if I would remind everybody about the special United Way Pasta Fest. Yeah, let's look at that in full screen. Yeah. Are you hungry now? Pasta Fests are really popular with a lot of the local organizations. Of course, we were there for the Boys Home, recently had one, and now this one for the United Way coming up this Thursday. Eat in or take out. It's always delicious at the Donny Club here in Sarnia. And of course, the United Way, all their money raised is 100% raised by the community. They do not receive any government funding. So their campaign goal of, well, last year it was $2 million, and they came up short about 30,000. So they haven't announced officially what the number will be again, but let's just pretend we're starting off 30,000 short and help the United Way out and get down to the Donny Club. That's coming up this Thursday, starts around 5 o'clock. I think I might be there because I'm hungry just talking about it. The United Way does a lot of great things in the community, lots of services that they provide, and including exercise events that they have. I was teasing Dave Brown. I said, you got to have, they do this walk up the building, like it's a lot of walking, and it's good because they do a lot of events with food. So we have to lose the pounds after, but supporting United Way, always good. All right, music time. Aces High coming live to Paddy Flaherty's this May the 17th. These guys are an awesome original rock group. I guess you could say based out of Brights Grove, Ontario, but the Sarnia-Lambton area, but a few of the guys live out in Brights Grove. And they have Brights Grove Music Fest that's going to be coming up in June as well that they're a part of. And I think this will be the 3rd year for that. So it's been very successful out there. So check out Aces High at Paddy Flaherty's this weekend. And also, here's a special one. And I haven't been able to make it to any of the music. At the Twisted Arm. Have you been to the Twisted Arm? A lot of people go, Twisted Arm has live entertainment. Yes, they've been starting to do live entertainment. And one of the cool things that they do You see CJ Lee and the band is going to be there, or CJ Lee and the Dead. I can't even talk straight today. You see it there on your screen. You know what I'm saying? The Twisted Arm doing live entertainment. And one of the things that they're doing when they have their live entertainment on Saturday nights is there is no cover charge. No cover charge. But every Saturday when they have a band, they take donations at the door and donate it to a local nonprofit or charitable organization. What a great idea. So you want to support local music, or you want to be entertained and support local nonprofit organizations at the same time, go down and see the music and entertainment at the Twisted Arm. Now, here's something special that is coming up that I'm excited about. Of course, we talk about our friends at Preferred Towing, who are part of course, of Heavy Rescue 401, and owners of that, Gary and Tammy Vandenheuvel, purchased the old ABC daycare center on London Road a few years back, and it's currently being renovated, and they're making quite good progress now that they got through a lot of obstacles and stuff, hoping to, coming up in a few months, to open the youth transitional housing facility. And we're going to have a fundraiser to help give them some of the money they need to keep this going. So the Twisted Arm on Saturday, special group, donations at the door are going to go to the youth transitional housing facility. And then and don't laugh at me, but I like saying this, Sunday. I just needed an echo behind that. That might have been better. Twisted Arm is celebrating 2 years in business at their current location, 2 years. And of course, Jen and Tyler, owners of the Twisted Arm, are huge Tragically Hip fans. Well, I was able to see the Tragically Hip down at Rock the Park a few years back. And being in the media pit, I took some photos of course, lead singer who's passed, Gord Downey. I have got some amazing pictures, and we're going to have some special blown up pictures in a shadow box that we're going to raffle off. You won't see these pictures anywhere else, only one print. And we're going to raffle it off. We're also going to give the money to the youth transitional housing facility. And we're going to party with them down at the Twisted Arm and celebrate their 2 years in business. So win-win for everybody. We're going to have a lot of fun. The Practically Hip is going to be there on the Sunday. It's the only day of the year that Twisted Arm is open on the Sunday, and that's for their anniversary. The Practically Hip going to be there, other bands as well. So a weekend of entertainment and fun at the Twisted Arm and supporting a great cause, the youth transitional housing facility here in Sarnia. So I'll have more details on the Facebook page coming up. I'm really excited for that one. And I got to be in like 3 places at once that Saturday, but I will be there. All right. The Inn of the Good Shepherd coming up. I want to mention this real quick. Of course, they have their annual Surf and Turf. It's coming up on Thursday, June the 13th. I didn't get to go to this last year, but Jennifer did. And she's not even a big fan of seafood. And she said it was fantastic. So another great local organization to support here in Sarnia-Lambton. All right, let's get moving on. I'm going to push this one through right away because it's an important one, and it's a little extra special to me as well. The Alzheimer Society, and I want to correct that. The Alzheimer Society, not the Alzheimer's Society. I think a lot of people mix that up, understandably. But the Alzheimer Society here in Sarnia-Lambton does a lot of great work for people suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's disease. And my father suffers from Alzheimer's disease. And so I've been able to appreciate even more. And I've supported the Alzheimer Society for many years, even before, because I just saw a lot of the great things that they've done in the community, and with some friends of mine as well who have gone through this disease with their family. So right now we have Marcy from the Alzheimer Society. Hello, Marie.
Hello.
Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. And I see that you're wearing your really special forget-me-not tie.
I am. I bought that last summer, I think it was, that I bought that in the Lambton Mall. So
I have to get you a pair of the socks to match.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. I need to get a pair of those.
They're very cool.
And I'll get all decked out on May the 26th for the Alzheimer walk that's coming up.
Yes, it's coming up fast. Sunday, May 26th, and it's a beautiful walk. Starts at, well, you can check in starting at 8 o'clock. The walk actually starts at 9, and we walk down the river, little turn up by Texar, and then walk down to the park, and then back.
Right.
Rainbow Park.
Rainbow Park, yes. Now, this is, of course, an annual signature event for Alzheimer Society, not just in Sarnia-Lambton, but this happens all over, right?
It does. And we're sponsored nationally by IG Wealth Management. Have to get their name in there.
Yeah.
And this year, new to our walk, the Rotary Club of Sarnia-Lambton is sponsoring a pancake and sausage breakfast. So after the walk, immediately following the walk, you can have some breakfast with your family.
Well, let's put that up there as well. We need people to know that. I forgot about that, and might have been better to do the breakfast first, and then you could walk off the calories. I don't know.
Yeah, some people can't exercise when they've got a lot of food on their stomach, so it's better to walk first. I'm thinking.
Yeah. Well, Rotary's a great supporter here in Sarnia-Lambton as well, so that's great that they've come on board to do this. Let's talk about the Alzheimer Society here in Sarnia-Lambton and what they do, because I think it's one of those organizations that, oh yeah, I've heard of it. Oh, that's nice. And until it happens to you or to someone in your family, I guess I should say, you really don't understand the amount of things that the Alzheimer Society does, not just for the victims of Alzheimer's disease, but for the caregivers.
That's right. Before I worked for the Alzheimer Society, I didn't know all the programs they had. We have several programs. We have Minds in Motion. We have Mindful Music. We have support groups for every stage of the disease. So, and not just for the person living with Alzheimer's or other dementias, but also for the care partners. It's a long journey for families, and oftentimes the toll is taken on the person that's providing the care.
Yeah, and well, it does, and I mean, I'm really fortunate in the sense that my stepmother is still living with my dad, who suffers from that, so she's there. And does a lot of the daily stuff there. But like you said, the caregivers need a break too. I know there was something that she attended not too long ago, like a spa day or something.
Yeah, we had that's an annual event for us now. It's a pamper day. So very kind, generous service providers, manis, pedis, Reiki, massage therapy. We have a day where people sign up for 4 or 5 events, and people donate their time, and Wellings of Corunna actually provided a meal for everybody as well. So it was a beautiful venue. They have some nice rooms to be able to do those kind of spa services. And it's just a day of self-care for care partners that often neglect their own needs, especially their mental health needs, because they're too busy trying to care for the other person.
Well, and I think there's a bit of guilt that comes into that effect there, that if, I'm here to look after my partner and want to do whatever I can for them, and how dare I want a day off to myself, right? And the partners feel guilty for that. But I think probably having these things available makes them feel a little more like, it's okay. You got to take care of. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody, right?
And that's where the groups help out too, because they're with people that are going through the same journey, and they give each other permission to go ahead and do that for yourself. Go get your hair done. We also provide respite care to families, so it gives the person an opportunity to go out and go to a doctor's appointment, or go get their groceries, or whatever it is they can't do, just to get some alone time.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, to be able to be around others who are going through the same, issues in any world, whenever we can familiarize ourselves with others who can relate to what we're going through, That in itself is therapy, I would think.
It is. There's some social isolation with this disease. So that's where our social clubs come in handy. We have the Forget Me Not social club where they go out and do activities. And if the person is having a bad day and they say something inappropriate, they're with other people that understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know, like, and my dad goes out to groups like 3 times a week as well. So, I mean, not only is that, pardon me, is that good for him, but again, that gives some relief time. It's kind of looking after 2 people at once with those kind of things, right? Because it gives his wife some more relief time as well, which is definitely important. And you'd mentioned mental health. There's those 2 words again that just comes up all the time everywhere we go. That's certainly something that would have an impact on everybody involved in this type of situation.
It does, and that's where the support of our social workers comes in handy. They're always just a phone call away, even if there's not a group that week. As long as it's during regular hours, and we have somebody on call to help if there's a crisis. So we do provide a lot of services to the community, and there's over 3,000 people in Sarnia-Lambton over the age of 65 with Alzheimer's or another form of dementia. That doesn't account for all the people under 65 that.
Well, I'm just going to say, let's talk about that demographic for a minute, because I know you and I have talked before, and I think most would agree. If you say the word Alzheimer, we think older people. But there is quite a significant, maybe not as significant as the older age demographic, but there is a number that's younger that's affected by this.
Yeah, it seems that people are getting diagnosed earlier and younger.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of early onset dementia and Alzheimer's families that we assist.
Yeah. Is it? Let's talk money.
My favorite topic.
Yeah, everybody. Well, and I talk to a lot of different organizations here in Sarnia-Lambton. Of course, everybody needs money, but everybody's in a bit of a different situation too. Is the Alzheimer Society, does it receive any funding for the government, or is it strictly?
Yeah, we receive 58% of our funding from the LIN. Okay. And the rest of it is fundraised community-based dollars. So we have a calendar of fund development events and a goal for each event. And it's my role to make sure that we achieve those goals. Yeah. So the goal for the walk, actually, we did 25,000 last year, which was a huge increase from the previous year. So this year our goal is 30,000.
Right, and that's going to take some extra work because, and I didn't know the lady's name, but I wanted to bring it up that there was a lady last year who did the walk, and her alone raised $6,000, right? She did. Yes. Her name is Susan. Not able to do it this year.
Susan Berger. She has some health issues this year. She's not able to do it. So we are really trying to plug harder this year because we have to make up that $6,000 somehow. I'm counting on your family, actually.
Well, I'll tell you, it's my stepmother that put it all together. And she said, okay, you guys, let's do this. And I was like, oh, yeah, absolutely, of course. And there's been a little bit of friendly competition going on. I don't know how much you've seen, but my wife, Jennifer, of course, she's on the team that Ross's Rousers is the name of the group. But my wife put out a friendly challenge to me.
Of course.
She wants to raise more money than me. Well, I don't know. We're battling that out right now. But
we have a family battle going on as well. I'm sure a lot of families do.
Yeah. Well, this is a positive one, at least, right?
It is. And
I'm not sure where we're at, but I'm told that our family we're in second place for raising the most money.
You're second place to the staff of the Alzheimer Society of Sarnia-Lambton.
Oh, is that who it was?
We're in first place.
Oh, wow. We're gonna have to We're going to put a stop to that.
Also new to our walk this year, we haven't talked about this yet, is for every $100 raised, first of all walkers get a Walk for Alzheimer's t-shirt. They're really nice blue this year. and I just dropped the buff. But anyways, we have these really cool buffs that I didn't know what a buff was until this year.
No.
Be old, I don't know. They're the things that you wear for like snowboarding, or you can wear them around your neck. You can put them in your hair. They're kind of cool. So we have those. But for every $100 you raise, well, you couldn't put it in your hair, but you could put it around your neck.
All right.
For every $100 raised, you get a ballot to win a cruiser bike that was donated by Canadian Tire. So that's kind of cool. So your family, you're like over the $1,000 mark, I'm pretty sure. So you would get like 10 ballots.
Wow.
Yeah.
The fight there would be who gets the bike.
Well, it would go by the person. So that's where the challenge comes in with your wife. You see? So she might get 6 ballots and you might get 5. I don't know.
Yeah, not if I have anything to say about it. Anyway, that's great. No, it's fantastic. And that's just another sign of community support coming into all of this play. How many teams do you have right now? Do you know?
Oh, last count, I think we're up to like 120 walkers. I'm not sure how that breaks down team-wise.
Okay. So,
but there's a lot of people that don't register online. So right. I'm thinking we're going to have probably 200 walkers somewhere around there this year.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah. And maybe more, because people may come out, like you don't have to walk to have the breakfast. So we're getting all the proceeds from the breakfast as well. So if you're not a walker, you're not able to walk, you could just come down and get the breakfast tickets.
Oh, and you're still supporting. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh,
yeah, you're still supporting. Yeah, they're doing it. They're doing it all for us.
Wow, that's super awesome.
Yeah.
So, well, you kind of answered one of my questions. So people can just show up and do the walk, but it really is better to go online and sign up for this, create yourself a team, or if you want to join a team,
okay, that's not fair.
I'll do whatever it takes.
I know you want that cruiser bike.
I do.
Yeah, you can go online to www.walkforalzheimers.com, and it comes up with a national page. You click Ontario, then you click Sarnia, and then you can just be a participant, or you can join a team. And you can also buy your breakfast tickets online. We didn't talk about the price. They are $7 for an adult, $5 for a child, or a family of 4, 2 adults, 2 children under 10 for $20. Like, where can a family of 4 eat for $20 on a Sunday morning? At the beautiful park.
Yeah. We're really fortunate in Sarnia we've got a lot of beautiful parks in the waterfront. And everything. So, and it's a 5-kilometer walk, right? It's
5K. It's short. It takes, I think most people, it took under 40 minutes last year.
Oh,
there and back.
It's not a race, right?
It's not a race. We have people rollerblading, and our event is also pet friendly. A lot of people want the buffs to wear around their doggy's neck.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, so I don't know if I'm going to do it in 40 minutes. I might need an hour and a half, but I will.
We can always, grab a wheelbarrow or something. We can push it. We can push you over the edge if you need it, Dave.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a few people. Take a number.
Well, there's one of the DJs from K106, and it's his birthday, and he said he was going to be down there, but he said I might have to push him in a wheelbarrow, and I said, well, we can do that.
Oh, who's that? Is that Matt?
No, it was Matt's partner.
Matt.
Oh, in the morning show, there's 2 guys on the morning show. Matt and
Max and Matt. Oh, Max Major, it's his birthday?
No, it's the other one's birthday.
Matt,
yes. I thought you were saying Max. Sorry.
Matt,
yes, it is his birthday.
Oh, okay.
He said he may be hungover, but he will be there.
Well, I think if you had to pick him or me to push in a wheelbarrow, you'd probably do better with him.
Doesn't matter. I lift weights.
Oh, look at that. Well, it's going to be a fun day. I've got a Corinder here, is a friend of ours from the United Kingdom watching, and he wanted to know, can anyone in the world join? Well, I don't think you're going to make it here for the walk, Corinder, but if you want to donate to my
I knew you were going to go there.
Wow. Corinder, I'll send you a link if you want to donate to my team. I'd be happy to.
Anybody can sponsor a team. I have cousins that live in the U.S. I have cousins all over, and they've all donated to our team.
Yeah, That's fantastic. What is the name of your team again? Do you have a?
Well, ours is ASSL team, but my family actually has 3 different teams because my mother has just been diagnosed. She's been having so many strokes, so she has a form of dementia at the moment. She's still living independently and really good, but so there's a Helen's Rebels because she's a very feisty 92-year-old. And then we have another team. My daughter's team is Walk for Memories.
Nice.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's all going to one special place, right? And that's fantastic to see the community come together for that. Let's we'll come back at the end of this. Got a few more minutes here before I move on, but the Alzheimer's Walk, May 26th, folks, and make sure you check out our Facebook page after the show is over. I'll be posting all the links for you to click and find out more. Let's move beyond May and then a bit into the summer. I know you've got like a golf tournament coming up, and then there's another special event coming up in September.
Well, we have our golf tournament, the 17th annual Golf for Memories on June 28th out at Huron Oaks. It's $125 per player. We give a lot of value for our money for the tournament. They get a nice cooler bag that's full of some goodies. They get a prime rib dinner. They get a grab and go lunch sponsored by Subway. And it's just a really fun day. We have a lot of fun holes where we do some fun games and stuff. And we typically, last year we had, I think 115 golfers, and we're trying for a full tournament this year. We're hoping to have 144 golfers. So that tournament.
Where's it happening again?
That is Friday, June 28th. Remember, you're thinking about emceeing it for me.
Yes, I
I have to say, to tell your viewers, that Dave Burrows is a huge supporter of the Alzheimer Society, and we really appreciate all your help. You came in last week and you did some interviews with some of our clients, and that really means a lot to the agency. I'm trying to get the community to be more aware of all the things that the agency does do, and everything you do has helped us along that journey. So thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome, and I'm happy to do that. And of course, like I said, I did before because I liked what I saw before my father was affected by it. So of course now it's even more personal to me. But thank you for that. It's it really is one of those things where you just, until it happens to you, you don't really know much about it, right? And I think that happens with a lot of organizations, and until something direct or even sometimes indirectly happens. But
yeah, the stats are that 1 in 5 people in Sarnia are going to be touched by this disease, either by a parent, a spouse, a close family friend. So we're all dealing with it in some shape or form. And our goal is to have people live as long as possible and as well as possible with this set of diseases. What we do, it keeps people out of the emergency ward. It keeps people out of, it keeps them out of long-term care longer because they receive the supports they need to be able to live at home for as long as possible. Yeah. So the work we do benefits the entire community.
Yeah. Well, I know you've been really working hard since you come on board down there too. And I guess, and interestingly, it's now becoming kind of a personal thing for you as well, right? So it's great to see all the work that you're doing out there as well. I know you've got a team there with you as well, right? So how many people are down at the Alzheimer office?
We have 10 full-time staff.
Okay.
And that's mostly, there's only 3 admin staff and the rest are all direct care workers. And then we have, I think there's about 15 to 20 respite workers that are on our staff as well.
Right.
They're part-time, so 10 full-time. So we're growing.
Make these things work.
We're definitely a growing agency. I think our board is doing some strategic planning because long-term we would like to have a day program. And that's a program where people caregivers can drop their person off. There'll be activities, there'll be physical activities for them to do. They'll be provided food. And that gives them the opportunity, especially with younger people that are being diagnosed, it'll give the other partner an opportunity to continue working.
Right.
Because oftentimes, like we have families where the person that got the disease is the primary breadwinner in the family.
Oh, right.
The other person didn't work at all. So then they're having to navigate, okay, we've lost our major income and now I have to go to work, and I've been maybe a full-time mom all my life.
Right.
So there's those situations. There's situations
And the
where
older you get, the tougher it is to find employment. Let's be honest.
it's true. Yeah, it is. And then there's where, you know, they have kids that are in university, and the student has to give up or delay or come home to help the parent
Right.
take care of the other parent.
There's certainly multiple scenarios that can be affected by it.
There are. And I forgot to mention one thing, a big plug to coffee culture. Eric Parsons and Coffee Culture, they're supplying all the coffee for everybody for the walk to go along with the pancakes and the sausage and the orange juice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he's been a big supporter as well.
I've known Eric and his family for a long time. They've always been great communities.
Yeah, he's very involved with the Alzheimer Society. He does that, and he does our coffee break program. We're going to have something neat this September. Our coffee break, we're going to have a standing free drive-through at First Christian Church on the corner of Murphy and Exmouth. So that morning, you can get your coffee. You'll hear more about it later on, but we're doing that. And we have our other new event. It takes the place of our Dancing with the Stars event. It's 5 o'clock somewhere event.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun. I'm definitely going to go there.
That is a fun event. We have Tom Watt and the Fruitcakes. He is like the #1 Jimmy Buffett impersonator. So they're coming, and it's at the Holiday Inn. It's going to be a great event.
Right
and like all Caribbean. We call it the non-gala gala, because you don't have to get dressed up. You put on your flip flops.
Use the tie.
Yeah, your Hawaiian shirt, and just come as you are.
Sounds good. Well, we'll have to have you back. I'm running out of time here now, but we'll have you back again. Let's get you back on a regular basis talking about what's going on with the Alzheimer Society here. And right now, everybody, let's get you out there. We'll share the links to get signed up for the walk. And if you can't walk or run or whatever, then come on out just for the pancake breakfast that the Rotary Club is putting on to support the Alzheimer Society.
Or sponsor Dave's team.
Yeah, send me money for the Alzheimer's. Sounds good. Marie, thanks so much. We'll get you back again here real soon.
Thanks for having me, kiddo.
You're welcome. Take care.
All right.
Our friend Marie from the Alzheimer Society of Sarnia-Lambton, doing some great things and recognizing the need to get more out there and make people aware of what's happening with the Alzheimer Society. And of course, as we were talking about the Alzheimer Annual Walk coming up on May the 26th, yes, there'll be a link for you to donate to my team. Donate to my team, not my wife's team, because I want the bicycle. That's selfish of me, I know. All right. Well, if you thought that was fun, how about fun with food? And my next guest, Sharon Murray, is with the One Tomato Project and here to talk to us. Thanks for being here, Sharon.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
Oh, you're welcome. Let's. I have first before we get into anything else, I have to ask this question. And somebody messaged me and said, "You got to ask this question. Is it tomato or tomato?"
Well, I think it depends where you live, Dave. For me in Canada, I think I say tomato. But when I was in England visiting relatives, it was more of a tomato.
Yes. And it was actually a friend of mine from the United Kingdom. I was talking about you earlier today, and he corrected me and said it was tomato.
There it is. Sounds good. Well, I guess whatever we call it, it's good food.
That's right. Well, let's talk about I know we've got fun with food coming up, but let's give people a background on who you are and what is the One Tomato Project.
All righty. Well, I'm a new member to the One Tomato Project. Darren Hacker and Megan O'Neill were the founders of the One Tomato Group originally. And certainly they've done some amazing work here in Sarnia-Lambton. And what Darren and Megan based their beliefs on was the idea that even one tomato could change the world that people live in. And they based their ideas on the victory gardens from World War II. So if you know anything about that concept, during World War II, of course, food was in a shortage. There was a food insecurity for many of the folks at home, since so much of the food was going to the war effort. And as a result of that, people were encouraged to grow their own food in their own gardens to feed themselves and others. In fact, the White House created a garden, and Michelle Obama was the latest one at the White House to create a one tomato type garden, or a victory garden. So Darren and Megan started the seeds, if you will, with just one tomato plant. And literally from there, it has just taken off. So kudos to both Darren and Megan for getting that sort of environmental piece started. But along with that is the idea that they're trying to combat food insecurity. And in my background, I'll maybe say a bit about myself, since
sure.
you mentioned that. I was a family studies teacher for 30 years, so I'm a recently retired teacher.
Okay.
And I had the pleasure and the privilege of teaching teenagers about food and nutrition for 30 years. So my target audience was definitely people who had a developing skill set, and it was a great deal of fun to show students how to cook not only for themselves, but for their current families and their future families. So the concept of food insecurity is something I'm quite familiar with, because even in our community, and I did teach in a variety of schools over the years, but mostly at LCCVI in Petrolia.
Oh, okay.
And certainly I taught at North Lambton as well, and also in St. Thomas. And these are communities where perhaps we don't tend to see the visible effects of food insecurity to the same degree as we may in a larger city. However, they're still present.
Right.
So we were always of the belief in family studies that we would be encouraging people to make good food choices for today and for tomorrow. So my background leads me to have a great deal of familiarity with the concept of food and nutrition, as well as food preparation, and literally, how can we make something from almost nothing?
Right.
We were always working on a budget in the school system, and certainly I think all of us have financial constraints when it comes to food. And as a result of that, we want to look at how can we do more with less. But in Darren and Megan's case, they wanted to do more with more.
Right.
And so
I know them both well, so I understand.
of course, that's right. So their garden started out with a very small approach, and I know you've spoken with Darren before, but my understanding is it started with one tomato, and certainly now it has just grown exponentially. So in Sarnia-Lambton right now, they have over 10 community gardens.
Yeah.
And they're looking for at least 5 more. If you see a garden with the one tomato sign posted, you should feel free to help yourself to anything that's in the garden. You don't need to ask anybody. You don't need to seek permission. You should just help yourself, with the goal that you will take whatever you harvest and make good food decisions for yourself. And if you can't use it all, then you could donate it to somebody else.
Right.
My piece of the puzzle might be then you could take that food and make it into something else to donate to others as well. Right.
Wow. That's and I think I know where a couple are, but I didn't realize there was 10.
Yeah.
Is there like a map?
Now, that's a good question. I thought you might ask me this today, and being newer to the group, I did a little research myself before we chatted this today. But that being said, I'm not entirely sure either where all 10 of them are, but I can tell you that the first one started at the Sarnia Public Library.
Yeah.
And the idea at that time was that it would be a community garden, but when they went to harvest the food, they realized that most of it was already harvested by people who were in need. And so that sort of changed their whole philosophy. It became the idea that if you need it, it's yours. Yep. There's also some other community gardens which may not necessarily be, let's say, linked to one tomato. For example, on Campbell Street at the New England Arbors, they have a fabulous community garden there. And really all they ask for is that if you come and you maybe harvest some food for yourselves, could you pull a few weeds? Could you maybe help with a little bit of the maintenance? Pay it forward, that sort of thing. One of the largest gardens in Sarnia is at the corner of Exmouth and Murphy at the Christian Reformed Church. Yes, and that's called the Garden of Eaton, Eatin. And what they do is every Tuesday and Thursday night, there's a really great group of people who pop out there, and they work in the garden, they harvest, and they certainly look for volunteers, and they welcome anybody to come and share in the work as well as the fellowship and certainly in the food.
Well, with all of this, Sharon, aside from the food thing going on, what I see or what I'm hearing and what you're describing there is there's a social aspect to all of this as well. If people are coming out and maybe gardening together or sharing ideas, or maybe it's a lifestyle change. I'll tell you, Jennifer, my wife, and I, we have recently made some decisions, and we're in the process of going, okay, well, how do we figure this out? And I'm type 2 diabetic, so I really need to make some changes there that I haven't made before. So all this is happening. And the first thing that comes to mind when you make those changes is money. What does it cost for vegetables and all that stuff? And it's not always, it's expensive. It can be expensive, right? But I mean, you can make it affordable that's a whole other show. But I guess what I'm saying is coming out and knowing that these are available now, and then coming out, and hopefully maybe I bump into some other people that are there at the same time we are, and you network and go, what do you do? How do you do this? Right?
Exactly. And I think that's so important for us to remember, Dave, that food and fellowship go together. If we look at Canada's new food guide, for example, which of course has come under a little bit of fire, there are some concepts with the new food guide that I think are so critical. And the concept is that you should learn to cook, you should eat at home more often, and you should eat with other people. And these are so critical. And these are the skills that we taught in our domain in family studies over the years. And now I'm really excited to be changing my audience a little bit and bringing some of those tips and those skills to the senior population. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting you say that that fellowship is a part of it, because I think I know in my family, it was kind of a forgotten thing that you sat down at the dinner table.
That's right.
When you were done, you didn't just go, yep, thanks, and run off to whatever, at least in our home anyway. And I
think that's right.
That happened. This is where we have discussions, the serious ones and the fun ones and everything else, the life discussions. And so I think that's important that we try to bring that back as much as we can. Let's talk about that fellowship and fun with food. I've got my friend Corinder he's in the United Kingdom as well, and he's asking about is there any workshop for fun with food? And I guess that's what we're talking about here.
Yes, so it's a new program that we've just started, and that's sort of the reason I came on board. Darren was able to seek and receive some funding from the federal government through the New Horizons Senior Program. And as a result of that, we have a goal of reaching as many seniors as we can to help that population deal with a variety of lifestyle changes. So as you're saying, as we age, in your own experience, you were talking about, for example, with Marcy before, your dad, and your experience with Alzheimer's. Well, we know that, for example, as we age, dementia can have a major impact on what we choose to eat, what we won't enjoy eating, what we can't eat any longer. You mentioned diabetes. So we're looking at how can we help somebody perhaps who's newly diagnosed, or maybe they've been a diabetic for some time, but they're just really bored with the things that they've been making thus far. How can we help those folks make good quality food decisions, show them some simple tips and tricks of the trade, and make some new exciting recipes? So we had our first session last week, and we had 6 folks come out, and 2 of our participants were identifying that they were diabetic. So I was able to take the recipes we'd selected for the week and show them how they could make these simple changes so that they didn't feel isolated, they didn't feel different, they didn't feel, oh, I can't eat out, they didn't feel that food had become a real chore or a drudgery. And we could take these simple, small changes and make that work in terms of their counts for the day. We also had a member in our group this week who told us that they were caring for an elderly parent at home. So this person retired so that they could stay home and care for their elderly mom. But as a result, they've become sort of isolated from family and friends. I know myself, I'm recently retired, and I'm really thankful to say that I'm probably more active than I was before. But definitely your food choices change when you're retired. So when you're not working. So these are issues. Some of our participants not necessarily this group we had, but we don't know in the future. Maybe we have people who've had an income change. Food insecurity is experienced by many senior citizens. Now, that changes for senior citizens once they became able to collect, say, their CPP or the OAS. In fact, those two changes make it easier for seniors to purchase food. But on the other hand, if we're living alone, do we want to make supper? Maybe not. So I'll have a bowl of cereal, a bowl of popcorn, a Boost, or I'm just going to eat out. And these are things that can really compromise your health, especially if you're dealing with cardiac issues, maybe diabetes, osteoporosis. So we're trying to look at ways to help people make simple choices that work for them.
Yeah. Well, the key word, right? Choices.
It's all about choices.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to be told what to eat, but we can share with you some recipes. When we had our first group last week, that was the first thing I asked everybody. So what's your motivation for joining us tonight?
Yeah.
And basically they were like, you know what? We just want to try something different. We're kind of bored with the recipes we've been making. I did a diabetic class in Petrolia for a little bit as well here last year with the assistance of my friend who is a dietitian. And that being said, for most of the folks who came out, it was for fellowship. I had a lady who had just been widowed, just needed good people to be with. I had a lady who had never walked a step in her life, and through our program and my friend's great leadership through her work, helped a lady lose 11 pounds of fat. And she was a diabetic and she needed to do that, but she needed our help. She needed recipes and she needed fellowship.
Yeah. And that's, again, let's with this fun with food. What a catchy name. Fun with food.
Yeah. It's kind of like fun with
There's
flags.
no food fights or anything going on, right?
Not so far. No. And we did have a really good time last week with our first group. We did breakfast for our theme. We did 3 smoothies and we all taste tested different ones, and we showed you how you can make it with a diabetic variation or non-diabetic. We told people about fat, for example, and how we can have high quality fats. We also did last week a crustless quiche, which was awesome. So you could just pop that right in your freezer. So if you were one of those folks, maybe you're a busy, active senior, you don't have a lot of time to eat, you can just have this meal in the freezer, pop it in a parchment, microwave it, toaster oven, and away you go.
See, now that's so okay. I'm going to say something, and then I guess you'll be able to hold it to me because it'll be live.
Right.
My wife Jennifer and I should come out to one of these, but like she's not senior.
Right.
I'm not senior, but
and on our poster we said for anybody who considers themselves senior. So we didn't put an age group on that. And I'd say last week we had some very young seniors in the group, and that's great because the sooner we start these interventions, the longer we have to make them work for us.
Well, and one of the things you just mentioned it there that I don't cook,
right,
and I've never really had an interest in cooking. I'm being honest. My wife comes from a Dutch background, taught to cook, loves to cook, and that's just the way she likes it. Because I burn water, quite honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But I work at home all the time, so I was always taking those shortcuts and stuff. And she even recently said, "Well, we've got to figure out something for you, David, that she could make and then just pop it in the fridge or the freezer, and that I could that." But still healthy at the same time, right?
Exactly.
Combination. So
right. And the little smoothies we made last week, I was saying to the group that
smoothies.
And a smoothie can be a meal replacement. Now, one thing to note though is that liquid calories different than solid. So we don't want to drink all our calories. But that being said, we can take that smoothie, we can pop it in a little cup, freeze it, and in the summer when it's really hot, you can have a popsicle.
There you go.
So there's just different things, little tips like that.
My wife is going to love you.
Yeah. We also did an awesome broccoli and potato frittata last week.
Oh, I love broccoli.
And the great thing I found about last week too is that unlike, I suppose, when I was teaching teenagers, maybe I was the sage on the stage. But now that we're working more collegially, we've all cooked and we've all experienced things over the years. There's great tips we can learn from one another. And one of our members last week said, there's only 2 people in my household. I like to cook, but I hate to do dishes. So this individual shared with us little tips that they had for shortcutting so they didn't have to use as many pots and pans. And I thought, awesome, that's a great tip. And we also did last week a French toast casserole, and we did a diabetic variation for that, which you can make ahead, pop in your fridge overnight, or you can cook it right away. And then we did a variety of little muffins that you could have in your freezer, some very high fiber, which of course is great for bringing that cholesterol down. And, we just really enjoyed ourselves, and we all sat at the table and ate together and had that fellowship piece.
Fellowship, yeah. Well, it sounds like a lot of fun with food. I've got to move on here and get talking with my next.
Sure.
But what else, or when is this happening? How do people get signed up? Where do we find you?
Okay, so if you check on your poster, there is a registration website that you can go to. I'll just mention that to you again. If you don't have it listed, I think it's right there on your poster. But that being said, you can register online. You can certainly call 226-402-3180, or you can visit funwithfood.onetomato@gmail.com.
Okay.
And that is listed on the poster. So that link will be there for your viewers. At the time that you register, we do ask if you would share with us any food allergies or sensitivities, and if you could also share with us any health issues you might have that you're working on, just so we can tailor the recipes to suit everybody. Sure. Yeah. So
sounds fantastic. And we'll post all those links after the show. We'll make sure that we shared them on the screen here as well. So.
And we are holding it Thursday nights at the One Tomato Kitchen at 100 Christina Street North.
Right.
That is a kitchen that's been approved by the Public Health Department. So it's a great space for our purposes as well as other groups' purposes. We work from 4 until 7. And I know the one lady said last week, I thought, what are we going to do from 4 until 7? And she's like, I can't believe what we heard for 3 hours. I had a ball.
What do you mean we're done?
What do you mean we're done? So what we're thinking is that we're going to have the same group of people for 1 month. So they'd have 4 sessions. And that way they can develop their skill set throughout the month.
Okay.
We'll post the recipes. Once we get everybody's info, we'll post the recipes at the end of each session online to our participants. And we'll provide a cookbook for them at the end if they choose to have a paper copy.
What a great idea. I'm so glad I was able to have you on here.
Yeah, I am too.
You're a lot of fun. And let's do this every once in a while and reconnect about One Tomato.
Excellent. Sounds good.
And I'll sign up, I promise.
Perfect. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Sharon Murray.
Okay, talk again. Bye now.
Bye now. Sharon Murray, and she's certainly passionate about the One Tomato project here that was originally started by Darren Hacker and Megan Renault, 2 great people that I know and had a big vision, and the vision has come to life. So I know they're thrilled to have Sharon on board with it as well. Fun with food. Who would have thunk? And I just learned so much, and I don't think you'll get me cooking, but I will participate, and my wife can still do the cooking for me. I'm just being honest. I'm terrible at the cooking. Fun with food, part of the One Tomato project. And again, go to onetomato.org to find out more information, and we'll post the links after the show as well. Thank you again, Sharon. All right. Well, I know some people are excited for this one. I'm excited as well. And just before we do, though, I did want to just real quickly show some of these pictures of here's some of the folks from the One Tomato and Fun with Food participating there. And they do look like they're having lots of fun, right? There's Sharon. She's happy and smiling there and having a good time. And you couldn't think of a better name, Fun with Food. That's awesome. All right. We're going to move on now. My friend Mark Perrin from Bluewater BorderFest. And we've been teasing a little bit, but I'm just going to let Mark tell the story. Welcome, Mark Perrin from.
Hey, Dave, how are you?
Doing good, buddy. You're a busy guy.
Yeah, things are very busy for sure.
Yeah, but you like it that way.
I do. It definitely keeps me moving, keeps me motivated, and what else can we do to have some fun, right?
And you were extra busy last year, I think, because in the middle of Bluewater BorderFest, your wife was pregnant, right?
Yeah, she was. I was just happy she made it through all right, being about 8.5 months pregnant and on her feet for about a week or so, and was glad that our baby Emerson decided to wait till after the event to make an arrival.
Well, and I know, and your wife is Amanda. She's a big partner in all of this with you, Bluewater BorderFest, and this is the third year coming up. Very exciting for that. But I want to ask you this. Well, I've asked you this question privately, but I'll ask it publicly. What were you thinking?
Well, you know what? It's luckily we got a lot of people. We got a whole board of directors now, and things have really grown into what it is now for the third year. So I'm able to step back a bit this year and let some others take charge of some of the marketing and some of the promotions, and really focus on just kind of spearheading and leading them in the right direction now, but sit back and get some work off my plate. And now I can focus on everything at Tourism Sarnia-Lambton as well, and see how we can tie things together with BorderFest and Tall Ships and Artscape, and just what's the bigger picture for the community. And it's exciting times with everything.
Yeah. Well, and I know you've been involved in some event planning before all of this that kind of led us a bit of a passion for you as well. But the first year really was kind of a deciding factor, wasn't it? Or we're going to really go hard at this. Will this happen beyond the first year?
Yeah, for sure. The first year was kind of, okay, let's unveil it. Let's see what we have here. It was pretty last minute. I think the first year we were sitting, I think the idea happened in February. So to put the event together from February, I think it was serious kind of middle of March, announce people in May, and really do the thing in July. So not a very big time frame that way, but wow. For sure we learned a lot the first year. I mean, myself, I think it was my 6th or 7th year doing a concert event, so not starting from scratch. Obviously there's lots of experience there to say, hey, this is how it can be successful. And I think just the difference are the variables in Sarnia. Let's bring it to Sarnia. What do we have community wise with Sarnia, and how the Sarnia community will embrace and support a music festival coming back to the area, and let's set it up where it can hopefully grow for years to come.
Yeah, well, it's obviously on the right track coming out into the third year. And I know everybody always has expectations, I'm sure, of who you're going to bring. And I mean, you got to start here and kind of work your way up to those big, huge acts, right? But
absolutely. I think some people don't realize the perception of how the concert actually comes together and how you get big acts and what has to happen. And the little thing of having 50% down before you're allowed to announce an artist and actually book them to play is a big factor to realize who we have and who we can get has to fit into the budget. And unfortunately, $1 million acts aren't there or close on the radar yet. So no, it's working. One of the things we do is try to see who's maybe in the area as far as 3 to 5 hours or 6 hours away that we can bring up to the event, and that normally helps everyone out, finds another routing date for the artist, as well as helps us out on saving some costs instead of bringing someone across North America to play. So there's a lot that goes into it. I think there's been about 7 of us kind of scouting out the days, and each kind of responsible for a day on who we're looking at, what our options are. And there's a big flow chart and paperwork that goes with that to say, okay, well, if this guy comes this night, then who can come this night? And that's a lot of the winter kind of sessions when we're meeting. And now it's just getting the paperwork in and hopefully announcing the whole lineup here in the next few days. But the plan, we're hoping to announce one actually this week. So I think we're getting very close. I was hoping to maybe say something on your show, but looks like we're going to have to wait a day or two.
I get it. Of all people, trust
me, I haven't got the call or email to approve our announcement. And actually with that, I don't have the proper artwork. So, So we'll wait on that. But hopefully the goal is kind of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we announce, and then actually tickets will start going on sale on Thursday for who we did announce. So that will be Sunday night with Lou Graham of Foreigner, Kelly Caggy, Night Ranger, John Payne of Asia. So we're pretty excited about that lineup coming together. They tour as the Rock Pack. They're selling quite good in the US right now, and right now we'll be the only Canadian date. And there's a lot of rumors out there that we've heard Lou Graham could be finished after this year, that he'll retire and stop touring. So we're waiting on some official words that way. But on his schedule right now, we're the last date. So it
Okay.
could be one of his
That
last
could be interesting.
performances, definitely to see him in person. And we're excited to bring this group. I think it ties in really well with the tall ship crowd, those demographics, and we're looking. We can kind of hint that Saturday night will be a similar mix of talents, and hint at that for the Saturday
So
Sunday, and we'll keep working away.
Okay, I just want to. So, is there an age demographic that you? Because it seems like the Rock this year and the Rock last year, there's a particular demographic you're looking at.
There is. I mean, we kind of have broke it up. Sarnia is somewhat of a divided. We have a large pocket kind of in that 34 plus range. I would say that's the classic rock crowd in Sarnia that stretches into the 55 or 60 plus crowd. And I think if we can target that, I think it's no secret K106 is very popular with their rock and who's on that station. So have a look at who fits that demographic that we can bring in to kind of get that demographic out in the park. And even with tall ships, tall ships generally attract an older audience and families. Well, we want to make sure we have family friendly music, which I feel all our classic rock is, and then also mix that with the right demographic. So not to say, I think at the end of the day, it is all ages, the music we're bringing, and it will probably always be that way because we're very family oriented. But we're looking forward to a couple good nights. That's for sure.
Yeah. Let's talk about, let's go back a little bit. I mean, talk about making announcements. Everybody wants to know. And of course, cause I'm involved, I'm happy to be your MC again this year. People are always tugging on me, what do you know? What do you know? What do you know? But there really is, it's not that you don't want to announce anything. It's that you can't. You have to make sure that the ducks are in a row. And but the way you announce things now, like it used to be a media release, maybe it went in the paper, and of course radio is still very dominant. But you're really a fan of social media. Like Bluewater BorderFest uses all social medias.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what we've really invested in saw the benefit of social media right now. And I mean, myself, I still believe in having press conferences. I'm a big press conference guy, have done a lot of events with press conference. And that, what I see, it allows the media to speak directly to you. There's nothing like one-on-one conversations with media where they can get individual quotes and really have someone to talk to right there. But at the same time, social media right now, I find the reach that we can gain from social media is one of the main platforms. How do we use that to the advantage? Not only that, but with the artists as well. They're putting it's funny actually. The Rock Pack released the announcement. I think we released it on a Tuesday, and the Friday before, the Rock Pack actually put it up on their social media, and I was tracking it very closely throughout the weekend. And it was funny. I'm glad they're very much U.S. based because they had about 130 or 40 people that liked it and shared it and whatnot, but it stayed all stateside. It allowed us to still kind of make the announcement up here and have no one really leaking it. And,
you can't keep secrets anymore, right?
No, it's funny. And of course we're sitting there saying, we literally just signed the contract and did the deposit, and you guys have it out, and we're waiting till really it was a Monday or Tuesday for us to release it. And hopefully we're able to be the ones to announce. There's been a couple of times now where artist has jumped the gun and put it on their websites. I think it happened last year with the Arkells too. They put it on their website before we actually announced it.
It did. I recall that.
It's all good. But no, going back, social media, definitely we're up over 10,000 people on Instagram. That's, a very Southwestern Ontario and Michigan based audience. Facebook, I think it's like 4,000 or so people on our Facebook page. And, between that, we just find there's a great network of music enthusiasts who we can reach. I believe even from the announcements, we haven't been a week yet, and we're talking, 15,000 views on the announcement from last Tuesday. So those kind of numbers show us, that what we can do with the power of social media and how to keep advertising and pushing. Obviously, locally, it was on the Observer. You put it up on the video show. Blackburn had it up. So a good mixture of local, which we always want to support our local media. But, one of the keys with what we're trying to do is how do we keep bringing people to Sarnia? The point of the festival and everything together is let's create some tourism. Let's really bring in people from out of town to stay in hotels and eat at our restaurants and grow the whole economy. We're fortunate. We did the stats, and I just actually looked at them a couple of days ago, and it was $1.24 million in economic impact from last year's event. So
that's amazing.
When those kind of numbers, it's not just from our hard work. It's everyone in the community working together to provide service and growth, and really that's what we need in Sarnia-Lambton to really help everyone out and grow the economy.
Well, and this is a community effort as well, and to make this work. But it's also there's a community give back going on that Bluewater BorderFest is doing as well. I see if you go to the website bluewaterborderfest.com, there's a list of community partners supporting the event, but there's also a great list of community organizations that Bluewater BorderFest is giving back to.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's set up from day one. We really said we want this to be a community event. And I don't know the exact number, but I know we made quite a few community donations. In the past, we've done 50-50 proceeds back. We did up some signed guitars and gave them to partners. And I know Rebound was a great one that at their gala, they had a guitar there signed that it was bid up. I believe they got hundreds of dollars from it. So it's great. Those things all, make a big impact on the partners. Obviously set up the way we are, we look for, we have a small army, I would say, of volunteers, but at the same time, we need groups to come in and run our bar and run the tickets and, help us in all ways possible. So it takes a lot of people to put on these events, and we're happy to give back for those groups and clubs coming in and helping us out.
Right. Fantastic. Well, I know everybody's going to be asking, when is it coming? When is it coming? So later this week is the hope that you'll have not all, but some more announcements, right?
Yeah, that's the hope. So really how things are mapped out is our Saturday night, we're looking at getting announced this week. Then tickets for Saturday, Sunday will go on sale. Country will be most likely Friday with the contracts. We're just waiting for them to arrive from the agencies. Then on Thursday, what we've kind of said day one is there's a program out there called Celebrate Ontario, and they actually last year announced their funding for those events in March, and they still haven't announced here in May. So we've been waiting patiently, and if that comes back announced, and Bluewater BorderFest is given some grant money to put on another day of the event, it will be Thursday, and most likely be a newer rock night. So that's our plan. We pretty well have everything penciled, ready to go.
Perfect.
We know what all that funding looks like. Obviously, we're still looking. We're hoping for some more community partners to come on board and be part of the event and help us out that way. But yeah, we're very excited to be back 3 years in a row, and looking forward to all the partnerships this year with Tall Ships, Artscape. We're really setting up for a great weekend of music, and very excited to keep this thing growing.
Was that a tough decision? I mean, we got the Tall Ships and we got Artscape by the Bay and Bluewater BorderFest. Like, this is going to be, well, I know I'm going to be busy. You guys got me all over the place, but was it an obvious decision, or did some thought have to go into it?
Yeah, you know what? It was right after last year's event, and Rob Harwood and Vicky Prale came to me and said, they're doing Tall Ships. It was before I took the role here at Tourism Sarnia-Lambton.
Right.
So it was before all that, and really it wasn't too much of a decision. We have a great relationship with the city of Sarnia. Rob and the whole Parks and Rec staff are just amazing to work with, and have really helped us in any areas that we need to put on this event. Tourism Sarnia-Lambton was always great with their staff, working together. And just when you hear that, one of the things, Tall Ships, they wanted a music component to that, and budget-wise, didn't think they could pull it off, and so suggested, hey, what about you guys moving and helping us out? Myself, I actually kind of looked at how do we get out of the month of July. We were at the end of July. Really didn't want to go on Civic Weekend and be the long weekend, but at the same time, July is just a busy month with Canada Day. Rock the Park happens in London. There was a couple other London music festivals, and really said, you know what, this is an opportunity where we can, I think, move the date to be a little farther back in the summer. That helps with our planning and some logistics, and at the same time support Tall Ships with their projected 35,000 people coming to Sarnia-Lambton is a huge number. So I don't know. I said our gates, we can't fit 35,000. So, we're still pretty conservative with our numbers. We're looking 10,000 for the whole weekend is probably the goal that I think internally we've set. And really, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how we get there. And I think the biggest thing from what I'm already hearing is everyone wants to know when VIP tickets go on sale. So we're getting a lot of requests on the VIP side, which I think will move quickly because we only have 1,000 of those each night. And we'll kind of play it by year. But overall, the Tall Ships, we're just excited. I think if you can put all these partnerships together, in the end, it's going to benefit everyone in Sarnia-Lambton, all the businesses, that many people coming to town. We want it jam-packed full of people that love Sarnia and want to come back for years to come.
Fantastic. Well, you've done a great job so far, and I know you've got a great team behind you, and I'm looking forward to working with you again as well. And it's going to be an exciting weekend. So keep us posted, as I know you will, on the announcements coming up, and it'll be all over social media and everywhere else. And we will. Maybe we can look at when we pin down the Thursday night on what we're doing. Maybe we can come back on and see if we can do an announcement or one of the artists or something that way. So we'll see. You know what? We'll. I know we're going to have some tickets to give away at some point, right?
Yes. Yep. You will for sure.
So. And we'll try to get some of the artists on here. And if it's not a Monday and you want to do it on a Friday, we'll make it happen.
Perfect. No, that sounds great. And the goal, though, I want to see how you can make the social media contest go farther out than it did last year with the Guess Who. So I know you guys had some tremendous results with your ticket giveaways. And that's my challenge to you is how can you make that contest even bigger this year?
I accept. All right. Thanks, Mark. Say hello to the family, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon.
Will do. Thanks, Dave, again. And for everything you do, we're glad to have you as part of a team.
Right. Thank you. Mark Perrin, Bluewater BorderFest, and also now part of Tourism Sarnia-Lambton, the executive director there. Good combination, really. And a lot of hard work has gone into this Bluewater BorderFest with a great team, as we just mentioned. And I know Mark's really excited because it's been a vision of his for some time to make this happen. Now in its third year, the Rock Night announcements are out there, Country Night announcements, and other announcements coming up later this week and beyond. And we will keep you posted for shoe. That's a really big shoe. For sure. Say that for me. Go to bluewaterborderfest.com to get more information about the weekend that's happening. And you heard us mention as well. And we've had Rob Hardwood on here before from the city talking about the Tall Ships Celebration the same weekend and Artscape by the Bay. And we'll have some folks from Artscape by the slow down. Artscape by the Bay. It's the end of the show. It's okay. Back here coming up in the weeks to come ahead. And I think that's all the time I got for you, everybody. Have a great week and an even better weekend. I will see you next time right here on the show live. Bye for now.